Hello, welcome to Super Soul Sisters. My name is Jamila Oluka and you're watching UBC TV Inspiring Uganda. In this show, we make sure that we have the sisters come in to tell us their stories. I mean to tell their stories from the perspective of women. Also, I would like to tell you that today we have this particular lady all the way from Mbale who has tried all odds to make sure that she is where she is right now. And I believe that later on in the show, you will get to know her, and also, she'll get to share with you her story and where she is and where she came from up to where she is right now. I want to remind you always to come and check out the furniture here, check out the beds, I mean the beautiful chandeliers, the beautiful lighting that you can take to your home and make your home that extra beautiful, extra welcoming. I mean, make your home look like a Hollywood home. So I would say that if you want anything, come to Dotash. It's just located around Ginger Road, Spear House. If you know from a WBS, this is where you can get everything. You're most welcome, Hanash.
Thank you so much.
Yes, salam alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
You know, it's very good to always greet someone in a religious way. Being a Jamila today and having a Muslim in the show, it's very interesting.
Yes.
Thank you so much for honoring our invitation.
Thank you for hosting me.
Thank you for coming all the way from Mbale.
Thank you too.
And you look smart.
Oh, thank you.
So, I would like to know, who is Hanash? Tell me your name, like in detail where you come from.
My name is Hanat Kasula. I come from Mbale, but specifically from Manafa district.
Yes.
Yes, I am a farmer in Manafa district. That is our ancestral home in a family called Ali Biatike. The late Ali Biatike. That is the home where I'm coming from.
Wow.
Yes.
I know Manafa. Manafa is one of those places which has a lot of food. You know, I come from the east also, so sometimes when we pass there. Now, Hanash, tell me about your childhood. How were you growing up as a child?
Yes.
I mean, the ones you remember when you were a child, how was it growing up in Manafa?
Wow, that was beautiful. When I was still a child, I grew up with my grandmother.
Wow.
Yes, I was the first grandchild in the family.
Wow.
Of my grandfather and my grandmother. I had a lot of love, you know, the grandchild. Yes, they loved me so much. But also, my grandmother and my grandfather were teachers. They were primary teachers. So I would go with them to school even before I reached the age. What I could also recall is that whenever I would go with them to the school, the primary schools, I would sit, whether I'm still 2 years or 3 years, but I would sit in a class where there was my grandmother.
So your grandmother was a teacher?
Yes, as well as my grandfather was a head teacher with the same school.
You come from a family of people who teach. I mean, you know, teachers, they say they are the sharpest academicians.
But they're also great farmers.
They are also great farmers.
Yes.
Today you will tell us about that. I only know that teachers shifted to agriculture after COVID. Most of the teachers went there. But you told me that you grew up with your grandmother. Being the first grandchild, didn't you have what they call dalu, stubborn, like crying, my jaja, first tell us how you were at home.
I might have had it because since I was the youngest at home, and my uncles, my aunties would support me. My grandmother would support me. I would move with my grandfather to the market to do shopping.
Then they keep you on the corner like this.
Yes, when she goes to the meetings of great men in the community, I would escort him. When my uncles and my aunties, actually they would do everything for me.
And where were your parents? They just decided to take you to grandma's place?
My parents are still there.
Yes.
My father and my mother are still there. But I don't know whether because I was the first grandchild and I was the youngest, so My grandfather wanted so much to stay with me.
Ah, okay. Okay, that's interesting. So, from the time you remember when you were a child, so which primary schools did you go to? Because you said you were Jaja's a kid.
Yes. Jaja Mwami's, is it called what?
Muzukuru.
Muchala.
Muchala.
Yes.
How do you call grandchildren in Bugisu?
In Bugisu, the grandchildren, Babe Tuhuru.
Babe Tukuru.
Yes, those are
So you were
grandchildren.
the Omu Tukuru.
Mutuhuru.
So tell us about the Omu Tukuru who was in primary school.
Yes, I went to Bumufuni Primary School.
Yes.
That was where my grandparents were teaching. It's just in our very community.
Yes.
That is when I started from, I even don't remember whether I started P1 or P2. Because I was sitting in a P3 class.
With grandmother.
With grand.
That is interesting. That's very interesting. So you started, like you just remember you were in P3?
I just remember being in P3.
Ah, okay. Maybe the grandmother taught you at home. Most likely she will tell you 1 + 1 is equal to this, 2 + 2. So from the time you remember when you were in P3, which primary, did you go through that? Tell us about the primary school you went through all that time.
Yes, and from P3, that is when I can recall very well. I was taken to another school later. That was Bubulo Primary School.
Which one?
It is called Bubulo Primary School.
Bubulo. I know Bubulo, that side that
Yes.
you're coming back to
Mbale Town.
Mbale Town. Yeah.
Yes. It is the same community with Bubulo Secondary, Bubulo Girls School.
Yes.
They're just within. So I was later taken back to Bubulo Primary School, and that was still in P3.
Wow. But not with grandmother this time?
No.
So what happened in that school?
In the school, it was of course a new place, but of course I had cousins, neighbors that I would go with to school, and it was about 2 kilometers, 2.5 from home.
So you used to walk at that young age?
Yes, we would foot. They would prepare us, not preparing, but they would wake you up, and you would prepare yourself very fast.
And would they give
And it
you?
was a culture, you know, growing up in a family where there are teachers. They are used to waking up early,
Yes.
prepare going to school. Previously in the other school, I would go even after break or even at break.
Ah, yes.
But here I had to prepare very early in the morning and go to school. And that is where I started from P3, P4 up to P7. That is where I did my PLOE from.
Yes.
Yes, and after PLOE, I had to go to again Bubulo Secondary School.
First tell me, when you're in primary,
Yes.
what are those things that you remember about primary most?
Oh, there were so many interesting things in primary.
Tell me those interesting things.
When I was in primary, when I had just reached in Bubulo Primary School, and in P3, I was the class monitor.
Wow.
Yes, so I kept being a class monitor to P4, then to P5, I was a health prefect, then to P6, I aspired as the head girl. And what I can't forget, while I was aspiring as a head girl, I was given an opportunity to go and give my speech.
Campaigns.
My campaigns. My grandfather bought me a box of sweets.
Bribery.
No.
It's bribery. They say shake the mango tree. Yes.
I don't know whether those boxes are still there. These transparent.
They are there.
Yes, there were 2.
Those sweets that come from Kenya.
Yes, it has so many sweets. So they bought me two tins of sweets.
Yes.
To take to school, to give my friends who are going to vote for me. But when they gave me an opportunity to give the speech, as somebody who is campaigning to be a head girl, when I reached in front, I had so many things I wanted to tell out. when you vote for me, I'll do this, I'll do this,
yes,
I'll
yes.
do that. When I reached in front, I forgot everything.
So what happened then?
I forgot everything. So I had a teacher who was my great friend and was like a mentor at the school. So told me, no worry, called me because the minutes had elapsed and I had forgotten everything. I only remember telling my name, but all the words that I wanted to promise them, like a candidate, they want I could not recall anything. Told me, no worry, even hugged me, told me, don't worry, but now when you're going to speak to a big audience, write down. Keep writing down anything. And I mastered it up to date.
Yes.
Even if I have a very big congregation, even if I know everything that I'm going to speak,
You make sure that you write
at
it down.
least I write 1 or 2 words. Because when I look on it, they will make me recall
Yes.
what I want to explain and what I want to talk about. That was an experience.
And so what happened? For me, I want to know, did you become the head girl? Oh, what happened afterwards? And what happened to the sweets?
Yes, I gave out the sweets. Were 2 candidates. Surprisingly, I lost the words, but then I was the winner. When it came to
You gave out the sweets.
no,
First, tell me, how did you, because giving out sweets to, like you gave out sweets for the whole school or just a few people?
I could not, of course, manage the whole school. I couldn't manage the whole school. And I cannot tell really how then did I give out the sweets. I only remember being given sweets from, I don't know whether it was one in my class that took the sweets or what.
So how did you feel like after the elections? Because I know by the time you could not speak, I think you were like, oh my God, I am not going to become the head girl. So tell us the story from when you became the head girl. How did you feel? What did you do afterwards?
But I had a lot of vibe in the background. It was not like you're going to speak and the whole audience is quiet. No. But although my opponent had to say something and was a daughter of a teacher, but those things would not work.
Yes.
And later when they voted me and I was the head girl, there is quite a lot that in my term that we did. One of it is we formed a club, a school club. That was for a garden club, and each class had a portion of the plot, and they would plant anything they feel like. Those schools had big chunks of land.
Yes, yes. Bubulo has, and it's a fertile land.
Oh, exactly, exactly. Bubulo Mixed Primary School is a little bit on a rocky, on rocky soils, but then it has big chunks of land, and that is one of the things that I even left there. Then secondly is when I was also in my term, children's dressing code
Changed.
Huh? This kind of the girls not putting on the belt, because we had actually we had a pink dress. We had a pink dress. It had the belt.
I know those dresses where you have to have the belt.
Yes.
And there is a badge somewhere here.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So others will not put on the belt. But we were smart in my term. The girls were very clean. They would wash their uniforms. Then that was also the same year that we introduced feeding at school.
Wow. Which year was this?
That was in 2000. I did P7 in 2002. That was 2001.
Yes.
Yes, that was 2001, 2002.
Now UPE.
Yes.
Universal Primary Education. Yeah.
Yes, that was 2002. So we had feeding program at school. So the children who'd come from very far, like me, myself, the parents would pay some little money to have food at school. It attracted so many children,
Yes.
and surely they would give us good food at school.
They would give you Irish, matoke,
Oh
meat.
no, you're forgetting. It is posho and beans.
But you see, Bugisu has it has one of the best beans. Is it
Exact.
kanyewa? So
Yes,
I believe you guys really enjoyed it.
Yes, yes. We have all the types of beans in Bugisu.
Yes. So then, so did you? That was in P7.
Yes, that was
And
in
then
Pisa.
and then you were head girl for how long? Because remember there was PLE.
We always a head girl 1 year.
1 year.
Yes.
So then you leave when you're head girl. So
Yes.
after primary, but also I want you to just give me a glimpse of how was it like, you know, you told me you used to wake up in the morning, but you know, as a girl child,
Yes.
walking all the way to school and
Yes.
coming back.
Yes.
What are some of those challenges you faced as a child?
Oh, there were quite some challenges. First of all, that it has a long distance. Footing, and sometimes the shoes are spoiled. That year you even don't have a shoe. You're moving on barefoot
In the hot sun.
in the hot sun. Leave about the hot sun, but the rains.
Yeah,
In
and
the
Bugisu
morning.
has a lot of rains.
Yeah, because when it rains, it will not stop you from going to school.
Now, how would you keep your books? Because if you're going and it's raining,
You put in the bag or in the cavera like this and run to school.
wow,
Yes.
must have been challenging. So then after primary, where did you go to secondary?
I went to the nearby school,
Bubulo.
Bubulo again.
Bubulo girls, Bubulo mix.
Bubulo Secondary School.
Yes,
Yes, it's different from Bubulo Girls.
yes, yes.
That is where I went to from S1, S2, up to S4. But I went there since we are neighborhoods. They knew a lot of Hanati who was in primary.
Yes.
By the time we joined the secondary,
They knew there's a head
the
girl
head
who
girl
was in
has
prim-
come. The head girl has come.
Now there you were, the celeb.
I was the celeb.
So tell us when you went to senior one, like
Yes.
how was it like from senior one up to senior 4?
From senior one, of course, there are a lot of changes from primary to secondary, even in terms of reading, even in terms of the books we carry, the time to arrive, and also the new environment generally. And secondary had a little bit like some bullying by then. Only that for me I had an opportunity that they knew the head girl has come. The head girl who was in primary now is here with us.
And sometimes they actually bully you if you're a head girl. They want to say, hey, you are the head girl, So you didn't get bullied?
I didn't have it. I didn't have that bullying. Maybe because of that, because of being the head girl from the previous school.
Yes.
But secondary was also quite good, because I remember when I was in senior, I had senior one. I was put. It had streams. It has east, west, and south.
Yes.
And in the east, they would make this very vibrant team. I don't know how they selected.
And you became one of the team leaders.
But I remember being in the east stream. And that was in senior one, even in senior two. When I was in senior two, the east stream had to make a lot of noise. They are the performers, but they knew they had a lot of you in the school.
Yes.
So one time before they closed, there is a subject that government removed from the syllabus.
Which subject is that?
Political science, something like that.
Political science.
Something like that. So when I was in S2, one time the teacher had gone out. So the students started murmuring a lot in class, So having seen the teacher was coming back, all of them became quiet.
Like nothing had happened.
Like nothing.
Typical of high school life.
Yes. So the teacher asked, who are those ones making noise? And because they were murmuring and all of a sudden they kept quiet, I laughed.
And you became the victim. Tell me, so what
And I
happened?
became the victim. They called me calm. So you're the one leading. I said, no, I'm not the one. But the teacher was so bitter. He started abusing. And when he abused me, those days I would even, I remember that teacher abusing me and telling me, no, some of you have grown. You have now started having some breasts. You can go and get married.
Wow. That was not nice.
It was not so nice. I started imagining, so I've grown.
So what, did they beat you?
He didn't beat me, but he mentioned so many words.
Which really must have hurt you.
Yes. So when I went home, I didn't tell my grandmother. I knew she was very tough and she would beat me again.
And probably follow up with the teacher.
Yes, and tell me, so you're the one who is disturbing the teachers. I didn't tell her. I kept quiet. So I told an auntie who cooks for us at home that, you know what, today they abused me this and that at school. I thought I had just told her as a secret. In the night, she told her.
Told the grandma?
Yes, told the grandmother that this is what happened to Hannat. They all kept quiet. In the morning while I was preparing to go to school, she had also woken up and said,
the grandma?
My grandmother, and told me, I'm going with you to school. I said, no, now what is happening? I had already paid school fees. Why am I going with her? She didn't tell me why we are going with her to school.
Yes.
I started asking myself, but she was also a board member at the PTA.
In the school?
In the school. So I went with her. But I knew this time around when I go with her, I'll have some lift, not footing. So I went with her. When I reached the school, she went to the head teacher, I went to class, and later they called me. When they called me, the head teacher asked me what the teacher told me. I told them, and my grandmother was so bitter. I could not expect it.
Bitter with you or bitter with the teacher?
With the teacher.
Yes, even me, I would be bitter with the teacher because, I mean, you were still a child and those were really, really harsh words, you know.
I could not. That is when I realized, oh, these parents love us. When they beat us.
They show that it is love. So what happened then to this teacher?
I didn't believe that she would be bitter with the teacher. I thought instead she would beat me.
No. A good parent, now that you're mature, you know that was really not nice.
That was when I realized my grandmother loves me so much. From the beginning, I had never known it.
Yeah, until now you are also mature. So what happened then?
So when they interacted with the head teacher, they told the teacher because she was not on government.
She was a female teacher?
He was a male teacher, actually. He was a male teacher. The teacher left the school and went and taught elsewhere. My grandmother, what hurt her so much that I didn't know at that time, was telling me that I have grown up, I can now get married.
Yes.
And she was like, no. Head teacher, this is how they spoil this girl. This girl, if she refuses to go to school, now how will you help me? So
like, the teacher was chased. Did you know, or what happened? You just went to another school?
I don't know what they agreed with the head teacher, but I think they could not renew the contract. I would call it a contract because he was not on government payroll. He was just a part-time teacher.
Yes.
And I think that was his first school because he had done, it's called teacher training.
Yes, yeah.
Yes. the previous term. I even fear meeting him up to today.
No, you shouldn't fear, because I mean you were still a child. No one, I think even you know, things happen for a reason. He must have learned a lesson from there, that
But
when
he
you're
learned
dealing
a
with
lesson,
children,
and he even if he sees me, he doesn't show that he was hurt so much.
does he greet you?
Yes, he even greets me.
I hope he's still teaching.
Yes, he's still teaching.
Okay, so then after that incident, you were in senior 2?
Yes, I was in senior.
And then you went, did you go up to senior 4 in the same school? What happened?
Yes, I went back. I was still in the same school up to senior 4. That is when I did my senior 4 exams. It was only after senior 4. That was when I changed the school.
And you went now to which school?
I went to Chinawa High School in Chengera.
Yes.
Yes, that was when
You
I
came
did
all the way to
yes,
Kampala.
that was the first time I left the village and also came to Kampala.
Hannah, you're going to tell me the story of your experience living in Bali. How was your experience coming to Kampala for the first time, and who were you coming to?
Oh my God.
Just tell us the story.
From the village.
Yeah.
That was the first time I'm coming to Kampala. And they told me, if you read very hard, if you pass your exams, we are now taking you to Kampala. I was so excited. I was so excited because I had aunties who were in Kampala, who were in Makerere, uncles who are in Kampala, who are in Makerere, who are staying here, who are working here. But I didn't have an opportunity of what exactly brings me to Kampala.
Yes.
So they told me, if you pass very well, we shall ask your uncle or your aunt to get you a school in Kampala, such that you also go to Kampala. So when I passed, actually when I passed my exams, the first thing, they congratulated me. They brought me to one of my uncles in Kampala. We stayed in Kampala that very holiday. Until
While you're getting used to Kampala.
that is where I was getting used to Kampala. We had a very big poultry farm by then.
Where? At Uncle's place?
Yes, in Iseta. Had a very big poultry farm. I would give them support. I was one of the people who would work at the poultry farm.
Yes.
And I think that is where I also got the skills. So when the exams came back, told me, now which school can you go to? Did I even know schools in Kampala?
but Hannah, you know in senior 4 you have to, they said looking for choices, you apply.
Yes. So because we have many teachers in the family.
Yes.
So actually those choices would sometimes work or not. Because they would say, so and so has passed. Okay, where can we take him? Let so and so take this one.
Yes.
To such a school. So Chinawa I had an uncle of mine who had married my auntie,
yes.
my maternal auntie, who was teaching there. That's why they took me to Chinawa. But also Chinawa, having been, by that time, I think I was on half sponsorship.
Yes.
Yes, because I went as a child of a teacher.
So like they had to cut him a bit.
Yes.
Like give him half pay.
Such that they would send some half from the village.
Yes. And then also
half was already,
yeah, that was good. Yeah.
That is when I did senior 5 and senior 6.
Now after senior 6, well, okay. Now you know, after senior 4 coming to Kampala, you are new in Kampala, you're enjoying, and then you go to senior 5, senior 6. So what experience can you give us? What did you learn during that time?
I used to think that while in the village I would wake up so early, but in Kampala people don't sleep.
So you are the people who would be there watching TV the whole night, then you remember, oh my God, I have to go to school. Tell us.
In Chinawa, there are programs in school. That, for instance, it was a Muslim school. There is time to pray, there is time to eat, there is time for dormitory, there is time to...
It's a boarding school.
Yes. it had very few that were day. And I think that was in O level, but in A level it was purely boarding. So we had that very program. Things were worked according to the timetable. You don't miss out.
Yes.
The 2 years was a lot of reading.
You know, HSC is one of those classes that
yes.
that level
you
where
read,
you read.
Read a lot.
What combination did you do, like at HSC?
I did a combination that has geography, economics, Islam, and art.
That is the GEIA.
Yes. The 2 years was a full engagement. And I remember when it comes to the holiday, if my uncle was not at school, had gone to teach elsewhere, I would foot from Chengera to home.
When you are not in boarding?
No, when it is in holiday. At times you ate all the money, you ate all the upkeep.
So then you have to walk all the way to home?
Yes.
Wow.
Because the home was in Busega. So I would cross.
Wasn't it that's a bit far?
Yes. But we would leave the suitcases and just put on your uniform.
But the good thing, you are still young, so you would actually, that age you can walk. When you are in senior 6,
no, I still even had that background from the village.
Training. That was training. Anyway, we are going to go for a
just see me reach home.
And they're like, oh my God, this...
why didn't you tell your matron to call us?
Because that time there were phones, so you should have actually called. But you know, when you've been trained very well, you say, why? Let me just go. Anyway, you are still watching Super Soul Sisters here on UBC TV. And I'm here with Hanash. She's telling us a very beautiful story of how she grew up in Mbale. And we'll be coming back to know what she is doing right now with all that training that she has shared with us. I'm very hopeful that she has something very good that she will share with us. Welcome back to the second half of Super Soul Sisters. My name is Jamila Oluka, and you're still watching UBC TV Inspiring Uganda. Before we went for a break, we were talking to Hanash, and she was telling us her story of how she grew up in Mbale and she ended up in Kampala. And you are yet to know where she went after senior 6 and what she is doing right now. But before we delve into that, I'd like to remind you that we are at Dotash, just here around Spear House, Ginger Road, where you can get all this beautiful furniture. So if you are looking for furniture, beautiful furniture that you can use in your home, please do not go further. Come to Dotash here on Ginger Road and you will be amazed. How was it like being in Kampala, number one? Leaving home, your grandmother, because you were a grandma's granny daughter, and then now coming to Kampala, and then you have to go to boarding. And trust me, I was in boarding all my primary, all my secondary to university, so I am that OG of boarding. I know what boarding is like. So you tell us how your experience.
The boarding, or what I would call in boarding, is that maybe what I missed from home is would eat a variety of food.
Kamalewa,
yes.
Chickeny.
The school is only go and read, go and sleep, go and eat.
And study. What are those things that you learned from boarding that today you still apply them in your life?
Time management. That's why even on the show I kept time.
Yes, you did. You did. You did keep time, indeed. You did. You came actually 30 minutes early.
Yes. I learned it from the boarding school. But it also taught me how to live with other people apart from people who are at home. Because I had new friends. I had and even the language, would speak some Luganda, but here would speak English or even some Luganda. Because my friend I was having on the decker was Anita Sot. So it was also another experience.
Yeah, and you know, for us, so we speak English.
Exactly.
And Luganda is really very hard for us because, you know, transiting from a Nilohamite speaking dialect to a Muntu speaking, then it's very, there are so many different words. Yeah.
I think that is when I also had an opportunity to learn some Luganda. Because purely in Mbale, Luganda is in town, but in the villages we speak Lugisu purely.
But Mbale, they speak Luganda.
In town.
But are there no similarities between Lugisu and Luganda? Can't you hear something?
Because we are Bantu, you can hear. And even learning it,
it's easy.
It's easy.
Compared to us, it is so learning.
Yes.
Yeah, it is hard. I remember when I came to, the first time I heard about Chireka, I was still young then. Because for us, we don't, with the K, we say Kireka.
Kireka.
Not Chireka. So I kept saying Kireka, and my friends would laugh at me. They would say, now wait, it is Chireka, and it's not Kireka. I said, but it is K-I.
Yes. So
I know those differences kind of, you know, it
had
brings
a different
change.
culture.
So after Senior 6, where did you go to?
I went to Islamic University in Uganda. That is the main campus, which is still back in Mbale.
So again, back to Mbale.
I went back to Mbale. That is when I went for my bachelor's in development studies.
Yes.
The only extra thing that at Islamic University, the boys sit alone, the girls sit in the different columns. Well, I would call them rows.
Like in Islamic way?
Yes. But also, you don't sit with the male counterpart for more than 5 minutes.
So what about when it reaches time of discussion?
It has to have boys and girls. Why specifically you, a male and a
No, at what I'm saying, Hanash,
yes.
When it comes, remember, not now, by then you were still young.
Yes.
There's of course chemistry. The body wants to be next to guys. So I'm telling you the truth. So like when you're seated there, like during discussions, because you know, we are humans, we interact.
Yes.
So like when you would be discussing, would it be like, Gwe Karimu, what, something like that?
Those things would happen, but...
Or you would be here like, here, women are here, you discuss, men are there, or you used to, how was it like?
When you get admitted to Islamic University, you're given a full book of guidelines, not a page.
A booklet?
A booklet.
Of how many pages? 150? Because you're saying a full book, is it 150, 100
yes,
pages?
of
what?
only guidelines of how you need to stay as a student at Islamic University in Uganda.
And followed by orientation?
Yes. You may not have other intentions, but as you discuss.
Biology sets in, chemistry. Oh yeah, I understand. So
we would have discussions, but mixed.
How was your experience being in the university, going back again to Mbale? How was the experience like? Maybe you can share with us that.
Being at the Islamic University of Uganda, I didn't see it different from secondary. from A level, I didn't see it different. Because what would happen is that only difference that was there is here you're not putting on one uniform, a white and a green. There we would put on a sharia, a long dress, different. But maybe you would change. Did
you be in a hostel or at home?
No. When you're undergraduate, the first degree or diploma, you're supposed to be in the hostel. I don't know the new guideline now. For instance, for a girl's case, you must stay inside.
And do they allow you to come to town? Is it did you guys used to have freedom like Makere? I mean, even if you want to get out of there, you want to travel,
you have to apply for a pass out. Go to the matron. We used to have matrons.
So it's basically like high school.
They are called wardens. We used to have wardens in the dormitories. Then we have head of wardens, where you go to the office. Stand the whole day, explain what you're going to do. Are you going to pick school fees? But because she may also check on the system and say, you have already cleared.
What about those people who join for adult education? Because Hanash, it can. There are people who like go when they are already married and what.
Exactly.
They also have to stay in a hostel. Or there was an
No,
exception.
you have to have a supporting document.
Okay.
When you're applying to go and study.
And you're married.
And you're married or you're working, you put that supporting document. That for me, I am working, I'm coming here for a weekend, I'm here for a day program, but I'm married.
Okay, then that is nice. They are flexible.
Yes.
Anyway, now that you were in university, you finished university, you said you did developmental studies.
Yes.
So now tell us, after university, where did you go to and what are you doing right now?
When I finished university, even before I finished university, I became the town council youth councillor. So I was the female councillor of the youth.
At the university?
In my town, in my home village. My hometown council. So before I finished, I was already in leadership at the local government.
Yes.
So when I graduated, I went back home. I engaged in
politics.
I also had, because I had learned from Kampala on how to grow the local chicken, and I was passionate about it. So I continued. I had my own small farm at home.
Of how many? First, tell us how you started, because usually people say that I started my farm with what, but I want to know, because people out there could be interested in starting a farm, but how many chicken did you start with, and how big was the place?
Oh, the place was big, but since it was at free range, the place was big. We had no issues of the place, but only that I began with 2. And those 2 were given out by my grandmother.
Wow, such a nice gift.
Yes, she gave me the 2. And I remember at university, when I also came back, I had some savings.
Yes.
Because this one would visit you, give you some 20. The other one does not tell the other one that I visited Hanati, also gives you. So by the time I came back home, I had savings from school. I had about, I think, 300,000
wow.
savings.
Yes.
So, so I used it at home. I bought more. I bought some more feeds. I expanded my farm. I did it different from the other one, which is at home. So this one was mine specifically. I added more hens. I would buy some food, but also this food that the remainings at home.
Yes, posho,
potatoes, cassava, and give it. And since I was also in politics, it gave me motivation. I remember I even became a model farmer. One day I would talk about youth empowerment, youth having access to resources. So they would say, no, let's go and learn from Hanati's farm. I would also bring the youths.
To learn from?
Yes, some youths from my farm. So it gave me a motivation that I have to grow this business.
So you never went out there looking for a job of developmental studies?
I have never sat down. Actually, development studies, it is how you can impact on community. Does not matter whether you have a job or you don't have. My training as a development student is that I have a lot of things that I can impact on people around me. That is what the president keeps telling us, the socio-economic transformation.
Yes.
I always ask myself whether the president has ever been a development worker, because those are the principles of these courses, of whether it is social science, whether it is social administration, whether it is development studies. It is how you positively transform
Your community.
community. I have ever tried, but I don't have that big vibe that I'm looking for a job. Because I feel I am still doing my development studies in my community.
Yes, which is right. So when you started your farm, you grew it up, you put your savings.
Yes.
What were you actually dealing on? Was it only broilers? Was it free range? Was it eggs? Maybe you can expound on that.
These were the local breeds.
Nkoko Soroti.
Nkoko Ngisu. This was Nkoko Ngisu. So would lay eggs. You sell some eggs, but you also give it an opportunity to hatch, such that you can you can expand the farm. But also on big days like on Eid, on Christmas, you set and you know that this Christmas I have this stock. I'll be selling them off, and that is already money.
Yes.
For you. So that is how I'd prepare my farm. Make sure that there are those that are going out, there are those that I'm taking in.
And the hotels.
Yes, and the hotels nearby. If there is a community occasion, I would sell.
They would come and say, go to Hanati's.
There are some hints Hanati has.
So you basically deal on local chicken?
Yes.
What you don't do in broilers and?
No, I do local chicken.
So what are some of the challenges?
The diseases and theft.
You mean there is also theft?
Yes. People they come and break and carry some. There was a time they even carried the whole farm. They carried.
The whole farm?
Yes.
And what happened?
So when they carry, of course, you start again. It can't stop you. You only now advise on means how
to strengthen like security.
Yes.
So now where are you in your business?
As I speak now, I have now 2 farms. One, it is still at my grandmother's place, and one, it is in Mbale town.
And how many birds do you have right now in total?
In total, it is because I keep selling, get others, keep selling. At Mbale farm, I would say I have about 150 at Mbale farm. But also, there are also some others that are in the village. And those ones are now looked after by my grandmother.
And she supports you.
And she supports me.
So what advice can you give to graduates who have just, finished and they are looking for jobs, who are out there about, starting something? Yes.
Having the skill at university is very important. But after acquiring the skill, whether which bachelor's you have done, it's very important to go back and look on how will you have money in your pocket. Because having a paper without money, it is very challenging.
It is, yeah.
It is very challenging. And different professions groom us differently. My profession groomed me on how I can develop myself and even transform other communities. I even believe other professions. You can do something within your profession. Actually, for me, when I even finished, I had, when I went back home, though I was a youth counselor, but I also started a group called the Mothers Initiative, the Young Mothers. And as I speak now, the Young Mothers, that association has grown. We received some funding from the local government for supporting youth livelihood. And we bought, each girl had a goat. About 30 girls had a goat. And I speak now, there are girls who have accumulated and even bought cows, who have even bought land. It's called Manafa Young Mothers Association.
Yes. So are you a mother?
I'm not saying, but I saw there was need to empower because
Yes.
Foma had gone to university,
But for them, they hadn't.
but for them, they had not. The things that have motivated me is my grandmother has been a model farmer. She has been having trainings. You hear she has gone to Kampala, she has gone to Western, she has gone to Nairobi, she has gone to Arusha because of being just a farmer. So I think that was my greatest motivation.
So are you attached to any group, like
Yes.
like any group of farmers which keeps motivating you and supporting you?
Yes, as a community, we started what we call an earth market, Manaf Earth Market. It is a market for farmers. We don't have a middleman. And that was one of the projects that I initiated. We were funded by Slow Food, Uganda. So that earth market, it brings farmers. We bring our local indigenous traditional foods to this market. It is a platform. We teach them about good, clean and fair food. But also it is a platform that people get to learn and adjust to why we need to eat organic foods. What is important with organic foods? We teach them, they learn from us, but also we get good money because we don't have a middleman.
Yes, usually when you have a middleman is where a problem
Yes, I get my pumpkin, my Irish from the farm, my matoke from the farm, I take to the market. We have specific days that we sell those products at the district. So we have registered farmers and those who can even adhere to our guideline.
It's really been nice having you. Just one word to people who are watching you out there.
I want to thank the UBC for giving me this opportunity to share my story, but also I want to ask to each and a young girl in this country that you still have an opportunity to work smart, not only being very hardworking, but work smart. Women these days, we make our own money. To be a very good parent or a mother or a sister or a what, it is very important to have an activity that you do, and you can also raise your money as a woman for your economic well-being. You can even do a kitchen garden at your home, such that you can sell your vegetables to your neighbors and have money. A woman who has money is more empowered than any other person on this planet.
It is very true.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Hanash, for sharing your story. We really appreciate, and what you've shared today, I believe many people will learn something from it. And also I like the fact that you got out of university and you got into your own stuff, and here you are looking very beautiful, organized, smart, you know, both brain-wise and everywhere. You look very smart. You've shared with us your story. We really appreciate. And we believe that people will understand and also, you know, pick something from you. So if someone wants to get you, they will get you. Where are you located in Mbale?
In Mbale, I stay in Mbale Industrial Division. That is in Doko Ward, and Doko Sambia is the cell, just opposite the industrial park. Yes, and if you ask for Hanat Kasula, Hanat Kansala, they call me the counselor because I have been a youth counselor for the last 10 years. Yes.
So you are now warming up for member of parliament. I know it starts like that. Before I realize I'll be talking to woman MP Manafa.
Yes, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Yes.
So thank you very much. For you who is watching, I think you have walked through this journey with us. Hanash has shared a beautiful story of, you know, from coming from humble background to where she is right now. It's really interesting, and I believe that she's not alone. There are many people who have gone through that. You can also change your life. You don't really need to start looking for a job and be stressed and depressed over that. You can pick a leaf from her that from university, she started small with only two chicken, and he or she is. However, I would like to say again that thank you so much for watching UBC TV Inspiring Uganda. We are always here every Wednesday, live on UBC TV at around 9 p.m. And if you miss to watch us on UBC on Wednesday, you can catch us on Friday, 11 a.m. for a repeat program so that you get to understand what is going on. I would also like to tell you that always remember to come to Dotash to get furniture for your living room, bedroom, sitting room, balcony, and also for outdoor. If you want to chill, they really have such beautiful furniture. Thank you so much for supporting Soul Sisters. Please make sure that you check out our YouTube channel, Still Super Soul Sisters. And every Wednesday and Friday, book a date with us and make sure that you watch Super Soul Sisters. My name is Jamila Oluka, and have a beautiful day.